West Virginia Public Television presents the 1979 Boys High School Basketball State Tournament from the West Virginia University Coliseum in Morgantown. Here to call the play-by-play are Woody O'Hara and Bill O'Brien.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the 66th Annual West Virginia State High School Boys Basketball Tournament on West Virginia Public Television. I'm Woody O'Hara, and my pleasure to work this afternoon with a young man who has been around West Virginia basketball at both ends of the state. I guess the northern part, the southern part, the western part, and all areas. Bill O'Brien. And Bill, we've got the AA championship coming up. The Blue Demons of Northfork and the Generals of Winfield. They've both fought hard to get here.
Woody, this is a dream matchup. The Winfield team is #1 in the state. Perfect 25-0 record. Northfork, the winner of the last 5 AA championships. These two teams met year before last. Northfork blew them out, but this year, well, the Winfield fans feel it's going to be different. We have 2 great players in the game, too. Of course, for Northfork, it's going to be the Todd youngster, who is 6'7", a senior, and he'll be going against his counterpart, Charlie Tribble, who is a 6'3" senior for the Generals, and we expect a great game. To get to this one, Winfield had to defeat Frankfort. They did so by 10 points, and Northfork a 12-point winner over Gilmer County.
Well, we look for a lot of excitement, a lot of crowd activity here in the AA championship. We'll check the starting lineups in just a moment. Cheerleaders, everyone will be introduced because, well, Bill, I think they've all had a big part in getting this ball club here, almost as much as the ball players themselves.
What do you know, every time you get a team to the state tournament, it's a team effort, and so many folks don't realize the roles that the assistants play, the folks on the bench, the cheerleaders, and all the other people who make it a team effort. And so that's the reason for this recognition.
Let's meet the players now participating in the AA championship game, and to the public address of Frank Stevens.
For Northfork, wearing number 15, Robert Huckleberry. And for Winfield, wearing number 44, Wayne McKinney. For the Blue Demons, wearing number 23, George Peoples. And for the Generals, wearing number 10, Gary Grimm. For Northfork, wearing number 13, Kenny White. And for Winfield, wearing number 14, Steve Crozier. For Northfork, wearing number 45, Kenny Brown. And for Winfield, wearing number 40, Mark Saber. For the Blue Demons, wearing number 21, Robert Foster. And for the Generals, wearing number 30, Mark Poor. For Northfork, wearing number 31, Dwayne Spencer. And for Winfield, wearing number 42, Jamie McKinney. And now let's meet the starting lineups for today's game. First, for Northfork at a forward, wearing number 41, a 6'1" junior, Walter Smith. And a forward for Winfield, wearing number 20, a 6'3" senior, Charlie Tribble. And a forward for Northfork, wearing number 43, a 6'3" sophomore, Jesse Fields. And a forward for the Generals, wearing number 22, a 6'3" junior, Blaine Sowers. At center for Northfork, wearing number 33, a 6'6.5" senior, Russell Todd. And for Winfield, wearing number 32, a 6'5" junior, Matt Matthews. At guard for Northfork, wearing number 11, a 5'9" senior, Peyton Flynn. And at guard for Winfield, wearing number 24, a 5'10" senior, Ken Hansen. At guard for the Blue Demons, wearing number 25, a 5'10" senior, Darrell Edgerton. And for Winfield at guard, wearing number 12, a 5'9" senior, Clay Robb.
Well, the national anthem sung by a lovely young lady from Morgantown High School, and this has been the custom at state basketball tournaments for quite some time. A very fine job she did indeed. The crowd was asked to join in. They did not, which makes for a rather nervous situation for the singer of the national anthem, I would think. Watching as eyes often stray around the Coliseum during the playing of the national anthem, we took a look at Jennings Boyd, 13 years in coaching, 5 straight AA championships, Bill, and he seemed very intense on what's happening here this afternoon, and certainly his Blue Demons come in against the ball club in Winfield, #1 ranked, a team that has not lost so far on the season, getting to this very point. So it's probably one of the best AA matchups we ever had in the state tournament.
Woody, I had a chance to talk to each of the coaches before we came on the air. Jennings Boyd, always the true gentleman, beautifully organized. Last year, when he tried for the record and made the record of 5 consecutive championships, he lost so much weight, and many folks were really worried about him. But he said the pressure isn't so great this year. They are hopeful of continuing their domination. 18-7, the Blue Demon record coming into today's game. The Winfield Generals head coach, Ron Chambers, in his second year at the top, admitted that his team's schedule was not as great as the Blue Demons, but indeed he feels they can do the job. And now, for the first half play-by-play on the AA West Virginia State Boys Championship, here is Woody O'Hara.
Thank you, Bill O'Brien. The ball game is already underway. In fact, Fred Wright has hit a technical foul for Winfield. Northfork violated the basket on a stuff shot during the warm-up, thus the no-jump ball to get things underway, and Winfield will put it in play, leading 1-0. Freddie Hansen outside with the ball. Hansen, as they try to get inside Northfork, there's the shot up and in. Matt Matthews makes it 3-0 Winfield. Lots of pressure by the Generals in the back court as they go up against Russell Todd and the Blue Demons of Northfork. Into the front court, Peyton Flynn is number 11. Flynn with the ball on the point. He was a surprise starter, and a steal by Kenny Hansen. Hansen all the way for the Snowbird, and very quickly it's 5-0 Winfield. Just as quickly, Darrell Edgerton down floor for Northfork, and he hits the 2, the first 2 of this AA championship game for the Demons. Hansen again used the glass. Tapped up is no good. They fight furiously under the board, and down with the basketball is Russell Todd. Todd off to Peyton Flynn, as we said, moving into the starting lineup for the first time here in the tournament. Flynn had knee problems, and we understand has been reinserted in that starting lineup. Shot from the outside is no good by Jesse Fields, and the officials have some bumping underneath. It's on Charlie Tribble. Tribble, the scoring leader on this Winfield ball club, averaging 23.2 on the campaign. First foul of the game. Walter Smith comes in with it, and the shot is up and in. Edgerton with another 2-pointer. He's got all the Northfork points so far. Here's Hansen. Good fake, and the shot goes in for him. Kenny Hansen with 4 points. Winfield takes a 3-point, 7-4 lead very early here in the first quarter. Darrell Edgerton fires again, and he's got all of Northfork's points still, is Edgerton with 3 field goals. The Demons now draw within 1, and a fast and furious basketball pace set here early in the first quarter. Dwayne Sowards makes that Fred Wright out front with the ball. They go around the corner to Sowards, then drop off to 20. That's Tribble. Here's Hansen again, and boy, does he have a hot hand. Kenny Hansen with 6 points on 3 field goals. Hansen scored only 6 points against Frankfurt. Northfork, no shot. Rebound returned by Russell Todd, and he is fouled by Hansen. 2 shots. Kenny Hansen off to a fine start here in the AA championship.
Woody, the officials working today's game, Ronald F. Cage from Cumberland, Maryland of the Potomac Valley Conference, and Terry B. Turbin of Kaiser working out of the Potomac Valley.
That's Mr. Cage handing the ball over. Russell Todd at the foul line. Todd with 18 points in his team's opening win over Gilmer County. 9-7 to score. Todd's first point of the ball game. He's already signed a letter of intent with West Virginia University. certainly, I'm sure Gail Catlett and his staff would be mighty glad to have him. He's played some fine tournament ball so far. Todd's second point makes it a 9-8 ball game and almost a steal. Jesse Fields went after it, carried it out of bounds. And the Generals will continue up floor, but there'll be no fast break this time as Northfork's defense rises to the call. Freddie Wright, who scored the game's first point. Nice feed, but broke it up. And traveling call against Northfork. On the steal, Walter Smith came out of there, but just a little bit too quickly. Too much feet, not enough dribble. The Generals of Winfield, unbeaten, 25-0, top ranked in AA. Here's Charlie Tribble. His shot doesn't go. Tribble hasn't hit the mark yet. He might this time. No, he doesn't. And a foul called underneath. Northfork guilty. Jesse Fields reaching in. That's his first. Second team foul against Northfork. And, Bill, we've seen through the tournament so far how very, very important proficient foul shooting has been. We've had a lot of close ball games.
No doubt about it, although only one overtime game among the three classes.
At the line, Charlie Tribble, averaging 23.2 per barrel game, and that's his first point. Tribble, a 6'3 senior. I know Ron Chambers, the head coach, in his 7th year, will be mighty sad, rather, to see Mr. Tribble graduate and leave. His second shot was no good, but I believe we have a lane violation on Northfork. Tribble will try again. Winfield leading here, 10-8. About 5.5 minutes to go in the first quarter of play. Tribble with another opportunity. He's got this one. 11-8 to score. Tribble, incidentally, had 18. Freddie Wright, the little fella, had 26. He was the big scorer in the opening win over Frankfurt. Here's Russell Todd, nothing but nets. Todd now with 4 points. And Northfork again to within one at 11-10. Watch Charlie Tribble, number 20, getting the ball there. They've kept him away from the basket so far. He may be forced to do a lot of that tonight. Go with the outside shooting, and probably not as effectively as if he were inside. Ball out of bounds to Northfork, and the Demons face pressure at three-quarter court. A blocking foul.
They've called it on Walter Smith. That is Smith, 6'1", and a junior. He was a starter on last year's Demon championship team.
From the foul line, it's good by Matt Matthews. His second field goal, and Winfield is not about to concede anything. They've led throughout, now 13-10. Down floor quickly. The Blue Demons of Northfork. Up with a shot is Walter Smith. He's got the 2 and a foul called on Dwayne Sowards of Winfield, his first. That's the third team foul against the Generals. Smith at the foul line can tie this thing up if he completes the three-point play. He had 8 points in the first ball game for Northfork, and we've got a tie at 13. That comes with 4.5 minutes to go in the first quarter. Freddie Wright shovels it underneath, and it's rejected. Beautiful block shot by Jesse Fields. Matt Matthews had very little chance that time. Dwayne Sowards is the inbounder, coming to Sowards. And a nice shot. Dwayne Sowards, first 2. He's a 6'3 junior, comes in averaging 15 a game. And Winfield goes back on top at 15-13. Northfork to Russell Todd in the corner. He's Mr. Inside and outside. The shot doesn't fall for him. The return is up and in by Smith. 5 points for Walter. And we have our second tie. This one comes at 15 with 4 minutes to go in the first quarter. Northfork with pressure all over the place now, and beautifully passed through by the Generals. Kenny Wright against Peyton Flynn outside. Wright takes it all the way in, and it won't fall for him. Russell Todd has a pass intercepted by Hansen. This is Sowards. 17-15. And what a ball game we have. I wouldn't be surprised to see it go this way right down to the wire. Russell Todd has been kept outside by the Generals defense also. A slip by Dwayne Edgerton on the drive along the baseline, and the ball goes out to Winfield. First substitution in the ball game. Northfork comes on with Robert Foster, a 5'9" junior, and Peyton Flynn goes out. Flynn may not be 100% healthy on that knee quite yet. Freddie Wright finally gets it in against Foster. Now Hansen, who had a hot hand at the opening with 6 straight points, drops it. Sowards gives back to Hansen. They'll set it up and go again. Here's Wright. Will not fall, and Russell Todd comes down with a rebound, but his outlet pass is intercepted by Winfield's Dwayne Sowards. So the Generals will try again. They lead 17-15. A walking violation against Charlie Tribble. Tribble got into the air, thought he dropped the pass off. There was no one there. We saw so much of that early on in the tournament.
Coach Chambers, Woody, told me that his team had to play inspired defense, and you can see how they're anticipating the Northfork passing game.
17-15 the score. Winfield up by 2. The Demons trying here to tie it up. Jesse Fields. Look at that fight under the boards. Russell Todd puts it up and in. 6 points for Todd, and we've got the game's 3rd tie. This one at 17. 2:20 to go in the first quarter. Hansen, 5'10" senior, averaging 8 points a game. Fakes from the foul line, now goes inside with the big boys and has it rejected by Russell Todd out of bounds. I don't know whether that was a smart play or not for Kenny Hansen, but it sure showed courage, Bill.
Yes.
The Generals back on the attack now as Hansen goes to Freddie Wright out front. This is Sowards, or rather Matt Matthews. Well, they're closing in on Hansen very quickly now, anticipating the pass. He's not getting that quick jumper that he had early on in the ball game. Dwayne Sowards goes to the corner, fakes underneath, beautiful feed to Charlie Tribble. Sowards with a nice feed, and Winfield again on top by 2 at 19-17. Robert Foster into the corner. Todd, he's closed in quickly by Hansen. Is Foster dropping to Todd? Beautiful give and go. Russell Todd with 8 points. And tie number 4 at 19. Heard a lot of the visiting coaches talking around the dressing rooms today. This is probably the ideal AA matchup. Sowards with a 3rd Winfield return will not fall, and a whistle underneath. It's against Charlie Tribble. That's Tribble's 2nd personal. And the 4th team foul against Winfield. 21. Northfork substitution coming into the ball game. This is Kenny White, a 6-foot sophomore, averaging a little over 4 points a game. He'll be spelling Walter Smith. Back up floor, the Demons in with the basketball. Robert Foster on the dribble, and a 3-2 zone set up down floor by the Generals of Winfield. Edgerton, the shot rejected, and a whistle. Foul called on Matt Matthews. That's his first foul, and the 3rd team foul against, will make that the 5th team foul against Winfield. It didn't take Kenny White long to have a chance at the scorebook. He just came into the ball game. He puts Northfork on top for the first time in the ball game at 20-19. We've got 59 seconds to go. Kenny White could not get the second one. Winfield with a rebound. Tribble to Fred Wright, and Wright against Todd up floor. Pass, a bad one, broken up, hit by 3 or 4. Northfork, what a feed by Todd. The shot doesn't go by Foster, and the Generals come down with a rebound. What a feed by Russell Todd. In the air, batting the ball to Robert Foster. Here's Todd with a loose ball to Foster. It's stolen right back. Dwayne Sowards with the ball. And Sowards walks with it. Could not control the dribble. Northfork will inbound with 31 seconds to go. And off the Blue Demon bench comes Walter Smith again. It appears Northfork will set it up now and go for the final shot here in the first quarter. There's Smith returning to the game, 6'1" junior. He gives him a little height now, replacing Foster, a 5'9" junior. Kenny White with the basketball to Edgerton, and that's what they'll do. They'll spread it out. The Demons with a 1-point lead at 20-19. And the clock with just 17 seconds to go here in the first quarter. White, Edgerton, underneath Russell Todd, pulls up his socks. He's in no hurry. 9 seconds to go. They now advance toward the bucket. Into Todd. Turnaround jumper. It worked. Russell Todd. 1 second. Long jump shot off the rim. Freddie Wright almost had a thrilling climax here to the first quarter of play. We've come to the end of the first quarter of the AA championship with a score: Northfork's Blue Demons 22, the Winfield Generals 19. From the West Virginia University Coliseum in Morgantown, along with Bill O'Brien, this is Woody O'Hara. We're about to enter quarter number 2 of the AA championship game. Leading the way scoring-wise, Russell Todd is having himself a pretty good afternoon, Bill.
10 points for him, and also a couple of assists. One that would have been a magnificent basket had the pass been able to be put home by one of his teammates. You know, we've had a chance in this year's tournament to see a lot of outstanding big talent. Todd is one of them. Last night in the single-A game, Earl Jones, of course, his team, the Mount Hope Mustangs, eliminated, but the folks got to watch him. In the triple-A, Alan Williams, and, of course, Logan's big gun, too, Collins. So a lot of young men in the tall timber. The crowds, and by the way, record-breaking crowds this year.
Indeed so, and we've got another one here this afternoon, and certainly the big one in the final. The AAA championship will no doubt bring a big, big crowd. This is one of the first times, I believe, that we've had most of the considered top ball players in one state tournament. Most often, some of them lose out along the way in upsets. Northfork with the second quarter tip-off. They go on the high post to Walter Smith. Edgerton now in underneath to Jesse Fields, and contact on the drive. Offensive foul on Fields. That's his second in the ball game. Northfork with a 22-19 lead, and we had a rather unusual start. We'll go back once again and remind you that the ball game got underway at the foul line as Fred Wright hit a technical foul against Northfork. Northfork was found guilty of stuffing the basketball in the warm-up. Here's a steal. And the jump shot by Field. His first two, and it's 24-19.
Now, Woody, every member of each starting lineup has at least 1 point.
That's better than I could do in high school or college ball, for that matter. The Generals of Winfield. What a season they've had. 25-0. Charlie Tribble back out front. This is Fred Wright. Wright picks up his second and third points. 24 Northfork, 21 Winfield. They might just trade buckets to the final gun. Edgerton will set it up now. Winfield still in the zone. They're collapsing around Russell Todd. The shot no good by White. And again the call against Northfork. This one against Walter Smith. Foul number 2 on Smith.
What are you taking a look at the Winfield regular season schedule? As you mentioned, they are unbeaten. Really, the only team that got close to them in all of the 25 games they played was in the sectional when they beat Dunbar by 7 points. Nobody got any closer than 7 points to them.
Well, I guess that's why Ron Chambers doesn't have too many gray hairs coming into this tournament. Ron, of course, the very fine coach in his 7th year of high school coaching. Very methodical ball club. The shot is up, will not fall for Matthews. And White comes down with a rebound. Winfield has shown a tendency on occasion to put some pressure in the backcourt, but here in the second quarter, They're trying to impede the fast break, but getting back quickly. Jump ball on the missed shot. We'll have 41, Walter Smith going up, along with 32, Matt Matthews of Winfield. Should be a pretty good match. Peyton Flynn is back in the lineup for Northfork. And we have a violation on the jump ball against Winfield. Northfork will inbound. Darrell Edgerton into Peyton Flynn. Now they drop into the corner, come back very quickly. Here's Edgerton alone in the corner. His shot has got it. Edgerton with 4 field goals so far, 8 points. And Northfork moves out to a 5-point lead at 26-21. Here's the shot by Tribble. And believe me, if one Charlie Tribble gets his eye on the bucket, as he appears to have done right now, Northfork better get concerned. Todd starting offensively from the corner, now comes out around the foul line looking for the basketball. Here's the shot instead by Jesse Field. Both these teams, a long road to this very game, and a very exciting road for both teams. Of course, a lot of pressure was put on Northfork's Russell Todd. Here's the shot inside, good by Matt Matthews. As we were saying, Todd signed before the season began with West Virginia, and some felt did not have the regular season that many expected. No good on the shot by Smith. He was intimidated underneath, and Freddie Wright off and running with the ball. Underneath it goes. Shot rejected by Todd. A foul called, and I believe it's against Russell Todd.
The previous 2, Woody, ejections were clean ejections, but that time he picks up his first.
A little bit of push ahead of the jump, according to the official. Northfork shooting around 65% so far in the ball game. Winfield 44%. This is Dwayne Sowards, and the shot will not go. Darrell Edgerton having trouble, but finally came up with the ball. Northfork about ready to make 3 substitutions just as soon as they get an opportunity.
And they've been trying to check in with us all game.
Now they're at the wrong scorer's table. Here's a walk ahead of the dribble by Jesse Fields. Another Northfork turnover. Coming into the ball game for the first time, Kenny Brown, a 6'2 junior, round number 45. In also is Dwayne Spencer. Spencer had been replaced in the starting lineup by Peyton Flynn. Spencer's number 31.
Woody, the Demons will use 9 players almost every game. Not afraid to use their bench.
Winfield finding themselves 3 points down with 4.5 minutes to go in the first half. Holding high as Dwayne Sowards around the top. Hansen tries his hand, no good. And Robert Foster comes up with a rebound for Northfork. Foster outside to Kenny Brown. Around the right side of Edgerton. Edgerton, a jump pass under and a shot no good by Walter Smith. They fight for the rebound, and a foul called on Charlie Tribble. And that's his 3rd personal foul. So you're messing there with a man scoring 23.2 a ball game. And with the 3 personal situation, they take him out of the game. Winfield comes on with Charlie Fuller, a 6'2 junior, averaging 4.6 per ball game. Fuller, number 34. And at the foul line, we've got Dwayne Spencer. Shot is no good, but the return is up and in by Walter Smith. 30-25, and again the 5-point lead by the Blue Demons. Hansen almost loses the ball, gets it back. He's trying to watch for other things. Northfork ball hawking quite a bit. Freddie Wright looks for the pass, comes to Hansen. And Winfield brings Matt Matthews out on the high post. Trying to set something up. See if they try to break someone from behind on the other side. Here's a shot. No good by Sowards. The return is up and in by Matthews. 4 field goals, 8 points for Matt Matthews, and it's 30-27. On the other end, a fine shot by Dwayne Spencer. Russell Todd about ready to check back into the Northfork lineup. 5-point ball game right here. Pass down to Hansen. Hansen looks for the break, and all of a sudden Northfork has a couple of blue jerseys around him. Back out to Wright, and they'll start it all over again. Into the corner, pass thrown awry, intended for Dwayne Sowards. Goes out of bounds, and it'll turn over to Northfork. Here's Todd, number 33, back into the ball game. Russ shows 10 points so far. Can you imagine 5 straight state championships? That's what the Northfork Blue Demons have done.
It's incredible, and they've won 6 out of the last 8.
So they're no stranger to all the excitement. Shot outside is no good. Tipped up and in by Russell Todd. That's 12 so far in the ball game. And an interception down floor by Walter Smith. He wants this one himself. He's got it. 36-27, a 9-point Northfork lead. And very wisely, the Winfield Generals coach Ron Chambers requests a timeout to talk about what's going on out there. And it's just been a situation, Bill, where the game is characterized most often, I think, as a game of spurts. And Northfork has just come out of one of those spurts, and they're in a 9-point situation rather comfortably.
Woody, you've hit it perfectly. Just a minute ago, it was 30-27, and now the Demons have rattled off 3 quick buckets, and that makes it a game of a different color. A 9-point margin is much different. You play your strategies much differently than if you have a 3-point edge.
You mentioned. Let's listen to the coaches now and see what they're talking about in their respective huddles. Jennings Boyd, very animated. Boyd in his 13th year. Okay, he's being very secretive, I think. 262 wins, 51 losses, not a bad record.
That's almost 84%, and if you count his total record, 13 years as a varsity head coach and 10 years as a junior varsity coach, 401, 72 losses, that's almost 85%. And who says nice guys don't finish first, huh?
They do indeed. In the case of Jennings Boyd, he has been Mr. Basketball in West Virginia for quite some time. 2:23 remaining here in the first half. Northfork leading by 9, 36-27, and the Winfield Generals inbound in the backcourt. That's Freddie Wright, 5'9", senior guard. Hansen back outside to Sowards. Now Wright will set it up. They bring Hansen to the top of the key. Sowards takes it inside, has it batted away by Edgerton, picked up by Todd. Back to Edgerton, and he's got the 2 points. He'll have a chance at a 3-point play. Foul called on Kenny Hansen, his second. Edgerton now with 10 points on 5 field goals. 38-27, and the Demons are out to an 11-point lead with 2 minutes to go in the first half.
And that's 8 straight, and now trying for number 9. This could be the breaker, at least in the first half.
Darrell Edgerton, 5'10" senior. The shot will not fall, but again, one of the officials has spotted a lane violation. So he'll get another try. That's the second time in this game, and it's rather unusual. You don't see that very often. Maybe once in 5 or 6 games, but never twice in the same game. Here's Edgerton. Can't get the second try either. Down with the rebound is Charlie Fuller. Northfork with just a little pressure in the backcourt. Boy, are they hawking the ball. Edgerton went in a little too close, and he's picked up the personal. That's his first. Both teams over the limit now as far as personal fouls are concerned. At the line, Fred Wright came in averaging 15.5 a game. He shows 3 points on a free throw and a field goal. 38-28, a 10-point Northfork lead. Wright with a chance to cut it down to 9. We've got 1:51 remaining in the first half of play. Freddie Wright, 5 points. The Generals will go into full court pressure. Edgerton works left, passes to the opposite side of the floor to Dwayne Spencer. Spencer does some fancy dribbling, but can't get the pass away. Sowards comes up with it for the Generals. Overplay by Dwayne Spencer. It sets his man loose, and a resulting long jump shot by Freddie Wright. That one came almost from the parking lot. Contact at the center of the floor and an offensive foul called against Darrell Edgerton of Northfork by the dejected young man. Coming back in very quickly is Kenny White. White in to replace Dwayne Spencer. And we've got a timeout called by Jennings Boyd of Northfork. Timeout with a score, the Northfork Blue Demons 38, Winfield 31. Bill, I tell you, this ball game has taken on the earmarks of just what we expected it to be. One of the finer matchups in this tournament. And I know that the big upset of St. Francis over Mount Hope was termed as possibly the biggest upset of the tournament so far. But still, in this ball game, you've got teams that, you take Winfield, for instance, undefeated, ranked #1, but Northfork with a fine tradition of 5 straight state championships. It's just a dream for the spectator, I think.
The Winfield coach now, we're going to try to listen in.
Offense, a friendly man. I want you to run Buffalo, run through it, and get left. I want it. Let's talk about it. We can get back here. I've got a pick on you up here.
Woody, that's Ronnie Chambers. Turned out we went to elementary school together in Beckley, and I hadn't seen him in many, many years. After his graduation from college, he was a coach at Park Junior High in Beckley for a couple of years, and then junior high coach at Winfield for a couple, and now he is in his second year as the head man here at the helm of the Generals.
He told me earlier that in elementary school, you all decided that he would be a television star and you would be a coach, and it worked out just the reverse.
Well, had I kept my hair, it might have worked out differently. I'm not sure, Woody.
I know what you mean. 38-31, Northfork with another steal. Robert Foster. And Foster will wait for his teammates very wisely, coming out to set it up. Many players would probably have gone in with an eye for 2 and put it up, missed the shot, and had 3 of the opponent rebound the ball. But Northfork now wants to force Winfield out of the zone.
Woody, this is a key juncture in the ball game. Last time we had a break, it was an 11-point lead for the Blue Demons, and now it's a 7-point differential. The Demons called the timeout, needed to get the steal. They did so, and now they're going to try to sit on this and hopefully add a couple of points to their winning edge at the moment.
Coming up on 40 seconds remaining in the half, here's Todd going inside to Walter Smith. They'll work for the good shot. Fred Wright trying to draw the foul. Sometimes a good bit of acting goes into that situation, too. White, Edgerton. Northfork doing a good job of spreading it out. Winfield trying in vain to get the basketball. Down to 20 seconds now. Edgerton inside will take the shot. Probably a little earlier than most coaches would have liked, but it worked. 40-31, a 9-point lead, and Winfield down floor quickly. Fred Wright looking for a pass, goes all the way down to the baseline to Fuller, back out to Wright. His jump shot has got it. Fred Wright, and that's the end of the first half of play. Very exciting first half indeed, as the Northfork Blue Demons head for the dressing room, leading the Winfield Generals 40-33. You're watching West Virginia State High School basketball tournament action on West Virginia Public Television.
Due to a power failure in Morgantown, WSWP must show today's game in black and white.
Halftime of the Northfork Winfield basketball game for the AA championship. And it's my pleasure to bring in Marshall University assistant basketball coach C.J. Willem. First off, where's Coach Aberdeen? Soaking up the salt out at Salt Lake?
He was here earlier in the week, and I think he attended an all-day session and part of another one. Then he's out at Salt Lake City now for the national finals.
Coach, last time Marshall was here, they played West Virginia University in basketball. It was quite an experience, although the herd came out on the losing end.
You had to bring that up, didn't you? No, we haven't had a great deal of success up here, but I think it's a great thing that the rivalry is going now. I think it's just a super thing for the state, and you know, we're looking forward to coming back and playing them next year in Charleston, and it's our turn, that's for sure.
Let's take a look at some of the talent now in this tournament. Obviously, the Marshall Thundering Herd, as so many other schools, are after Earl Jones. We'll talk about him in a moment. How about some of the other personalities?
Well, I think there's excellent talent, you know, within the whole tournament. There's several Division I players and a lot of players I think that can play at some small colleges. Of course, Alan Williams from Princeton, I think, is going to be a fine college player. Russell Todd in this ball game is certainly an excellent prospect. So the state of West Virginia, especially considering the size of the state, has a lot of excellent basketball players. And I think, of course, the ultimate in the state is that big junior in Mount Hope, Earl Jones.
It's really no secret that you have been watching Earl all this year, been to about every game he's played upon. And how does it look?
Well, he's just a, you know, great player with tremendous potential, and, you know, his best is certainly ahead of him. Has undergone a lot of pressure from a very young age, which I think has affected him at times. And I know they're very disappointed that they lost in the semifinals yesterday, but doesn't take away from his ability as a player. He's a great one and is going to get even better.
Coach, one last question. The Marshall Herd basketball program has really been moving upward. You're going to have a new place to play in. You have, of course, Coach Aberdeen. You have all of that enthusiasm. So West Virginia University isn't the only school in the state that is really coming up and going in basketball.
Well, we feel good about it, and we feel good that there are two fine universities within our state that have such great basketball tradition. And we've got an awful lot of young players in our program, but things are going very, very well, and we're optimistic for next year.
Coach Willem, thanks for being with us.
Thank you, Bill.
We'll have the second half coming right up.
Okay, thank you, Bill. And certainly C.J. Woolham is no stranger to the WVU Coliseum, as West Virginia and Marshall have met, well, after a long dry spell of competition, head-and-head, quite a few times here recently in Morgantown. We mentioned earlier the big crowds, and certainly the last time that West Virginia saw a high school tournament like this was back earlier in this week, because 12,800 in here for the nighttime session, the feature ball game in that single A classification between the St. Francis Trojans and the Mount Hope Mustangs. St. Francis, of course, continuing on into championship play, upsetting Earl Jones and the Mustangs, but 12,800 on hand. The opening night on Wednesday showed 8,200 here, and we've got a good-sized crowd on hand for this afternoon's AA championship. No idea yet on the size of the crowd. The figures haven't come down, but they will be very soon. Butch Antonini of the WVU Sports Information Department has been feeding us with team statistics throughout the ball game. We'll be taking a look at the individual stats a little bit later in our coverage, but some of the team statistics, Northfork showing you why they have that lead of 40-33 at the halftime. They're shooting 64+% from the floor, hitting on 18 of 28 shots. The Demons are 4 for 7 at the foul line. That's 51%. Winfield, the unbeaten Generals, 52% from the floor, 14 of 27, and they're 5 for 6 at the foul line. That's 83%. Second half action coming up now. Northfork leading Winfield 40-33 in the AA championship. And here with a look at second half action, Bill O'Brien.
Thank you very much, Woody O'Hara, and we're ready to go now. Jumping center for the Generals in the home white uniforms with the green and gold trim. Number 32 is Matt Matthews, a 6'5 junior, against the heralded Russell Todd. Northfork has it. We'll set these players up for you. Darrell Edgerton passing it outside, and Robert Foster is the other guard. That's Smith in the right corner. Coming out around the top of the key now is Foster again. Todd playing outside to Smith. Underneath, they try and knocked away, and Matthews with the good steal, and he must have stepped on the sideline. The referee right there to make the call, and Smith will be the inbounder. 40-33. Blue Demons, the winners of the last 5 AA championships, a 7-point leader here. There's Smith. He's got it. Walter Smith in double figures now with 11 points. He and Todd and Edgerton all in double figures. And at the other end of the floor, a quick fast break from Kenny Hansen. 8 points for him. 42-35. Almost a steal, but Foster gets away from it. Here's the short jumper. Banked too hard. Tipped, though, by Todd. 14 for Russell Todd. And he is playing one of the best games we've seen him play all year. You can see the Demons swarming in the backcourt, trying for the steal. Good team play, though, and Hansen is able to work it up. Working back there is Fred Wright. Wright, the 5'9 senior. He out there with Kenny Hansen playing the guard combination. You see the Demons in the zone, shooting over that zone, and hitting is Charlie Tribble. Tribble, the only player on either side in foul trouble with 3. Todd will try. Yes. Todd averaging better than 20 points per game. Close to that now, and Longwood coming this side by the Generals, missing. And the hustling rebound by Jesse Fields for the Blue Demons of McDowell County, almost in the extreme southern tip of the state of West Virginia. Winfield, to give you a geography lesson between Huntington and Charleston. Well, look at that one. Jesse Fields, just a sophomore, has his 6th point, 48-37, with 6:18 to play in period number 3. And as Woody told you, another good crowd for this session. The Generals work it off in the left corner. That's Sowards. Around the horn they go. Tribble. Passing back to Sowards. Tribble again. Sowards will try. No, it's a pass underneath, and Matthews gets it. That's 10 points for the talented junior, Matt Matthews. He only averages 7.5. 48-39. There's the steal. Look at that hustle by the Generals. Winfield coming down 3 against 2. Hanson will put it up. 10 points for Hanson. Good balanced scoring by Winfield. And Woody, you are correct. The Generals are not going to say die against the mystique of the Blue Demons.
Well, this trap press is causing Northfork a lot of trouble. I don't think it's anything they saw in the first half, and a little bit of a surprise from these second half Generals.
This is Foster with it, head of the lane. Jesse Fields, left corner now. Edgerton, that misses everything, and Tribble is there with the air ball. 2 against 2 break. Look at that. Fred Wright. Wright with 11 points. He is the 3rd General to hit double digits. And with that, the Blue Demons want a timeout. It is 48-43 and 5:03 to go in the 3rd quarter. So this is a game again, Woody O'Hara.
Bill, in the first half, Northfork went out to an 11-point lead. They coasted along between 10 and 9 for a long time. But the Generals have done some adjusting in the halftime dressing room. They've come out to really explode here. Some fine ball hawking defense. And as we mentioned, that trapping zone that's happening right around the center court is causing Northfork a great deal of difficulty. They went through the first half, did not see that from Winfield, but they've come into the second half, and Winfield has changed their brand of play considerably, and they've tightened this ball game down from at one point behind 11, now down by just 5.
Yeah, you see the Winfield cheering contingent. They were staying at the motel we were at, and a nice group of youngsters. Nice folks down there. We want to give them some credit. Jill Ramey is the head. Kelly Arbaugh, Paige Carney, Susan Huffstetter, Karen Strait, Regina Phillips, Betty Starkey, Robin Hill, Jeff Humphreys, and David Allville. We'll get the Northfork contingent in a little bit. A 5-point game, 3rd quarter here for the AA Championship. Northfork leading Winfield's Generals. And the Demons in their powder blue uniforms are on offense now. You can see them being picked up with the defense before they get to the 10-second line. Dwayne Spencer is number 31, who had the ball just a moment ago. Edgerton back. He's the point guard for the moment. Here's the shot from Foster. Nope, started to fire. And 3 seconds to call. Russell Todd in the lane too soon. Well, the Generals now, if they can take advantage of this mistake, are right back in the ball game. Year before last, Winfield in their first state tournament were obliterated by the Blue Demons by more than 30 points. But today, they are doing it right. Head of the lane, working with the ball is Wright. That's an air ball, and it'll belong to the Blue Demons of Northfork High School. Jennings Boyd, not only a great coach, he's in a little politics too. He's on the county commission down there. Won the election. Good leap that time from Spencer. How about that for a defensive play, huh?
I tell you, Northfork is concerned at the moment. We were watching Russell Todd as he backpedaled up floor to take his defensive spot under the basket. And you can see a great deal of concern on his face, as you can on all the Blue Demons right at this point.
A 5-point lead for Northfork High School, 48-43. And the Generals working with the basketball, very patient in their offensive alignment. That's Tribble, still working with 3 personal fouls out of the right corner. And now here's Wright. Yes. Wright with 13 points to lead his team in scoring. And his outside shooting has been a big part of the comeback. It's 48-45. The Demons will try the fast break. Good. The basket for Robert Foster, his first bucket. 50-45 is the Demons' answer. It's a 5-point game, almost 3.5 minutes to play in period number 3. Tribble deciding not to fire it up, and Wright will quarterback his team again against the Blue Demon zone. The corner on this side, Sowards. Wright back in the middle again to Hansen. Now they'll try the right corner. Back out again they go to Hansen. Wright will, nope, looked like he was going to fire it up, but instead passed it, trying for a cutter. Now Tribble. Underneath, somebody did something wrong for the Generals. A foul on Sowards, that's his second.
I tell you, you've got some great leapers inside. Dwayne Sowards, rather, at 6'3", jumps like about 6'7". Russell Todd is just up around that basket all the time, and it's quite a fight underneath for the loose ball.
Foster and Edgerton, the guard combination. That's Todd. Cross-court pass. Spencer, look at that move. Dwayne Spencer, 6'3" junior, has his 4th point. And it's a 52-45 lead for the defending champions with 2:42 to go in this, the 3rd quarter. The West Virginia State Basketball Championship. They're playing at the Coliseum in Morgantown. Wright with a long one. That's not good, but Tribble gets the rebound. Generals with a cross-court pass, and they'll set it up to Sowards right now. And look at that steal. Here comes Spencer hustling for the Snowbird. 6 points for Dwayne Spencer, and it's a 9-point lead for the Blue Demons. And as quickly as that is how Northfork could explode, Woody.
I tell you, doing a lot of college ball, you look for that stuff coming down floor. In high school, of course, it's not going to come or you're in trouble. But you have a tendency just to go up off your seat just a little bit and look for it and help with that little dunk shot or the slam dunk. We did have one in the opening of the ball game that came during the warm-ups from Northfork. I believe it was Jesse Fields who stuffed the basketball, and it resulted in Winfield going out to a lead at 1-0 because they hit on the technical foul that began the ball game. But certainly, a lot of these high school youngsters these days, they talk about them getting bigger and bigger and bigger as the years go by, are very capable of doing everything that the college kids are doing. And, well, it's just a differentiation in rules and that sort of thing. The tournament this year has been a great success, and we're very happy to have here in Morgantown what we consider the best basketball players in the state. And as I said before, we're lucky in having a great assemblage of them because more often than not, a few of them fall by the wayside in regional tournament or sectional tournament upsets.
You know, it's an amazing feeling. Now, I've worked ball games in Madison Square Garden, New York, and yet you come into this edifice. It is amazing when you walk in and you see the 13,000-plus seats. It's like a huge fishbowl with that great dome on top. And it's just the right to play here has got to be amazing for a youngster in high school. And you got a crowd like last night of more than 12,000, and we expect the crowds to continue. Of course, record-breaking crowds. The tournament was last held here in '71, and that's the last time they had the huge crowds, as we've been talking about. And just to play on this floor at this Coliseum at WVU is worth the effort. Generals in play. 54-45 is the score. Northfork with the lead, and Winfield working with the ball with 2 minutes to play in the 3rd. There's a foul on the play. The Demons will be called with Dwayne Spencer committing his first. Woody, I think we need to clarify perhaps that dunking situation. In high school, they have brought the dunk rule back, but the ball must be in play. It must be a live ball before you can dunk. If you are warming up or it is a timeout and you dunk the ball, why then the technical, and that's the reason for that. At the free throw line, Wright missing. That's the first time he's missed at the line. A total of 13 points for the 5'9" senior. Still 54-45. There it is. Wright, a smooth shooter, close to his average of 15.5 a game. And it's an 8-point lead for the Blue Demons. There's Todd. Yes. 18 points for Russell Todd. 6'7" senior showing him. And there's the steal. Look at that. Dwayne Spencer, who has hustled off the bench, has scored 8 points all in this quarter. And it's 58-46. The lead is 12 with 1.5 minutes to go in the 3rd. Well, let's see what the Generals can come up with now. Out of bounds.
Got a feeling the Generals might have lost a little bit of composure because they've been semi-blitzed by Northfork here in the third quarter.
The Demons can do that to you. They have fresh troops in, and you get somebody hot off the bench like Spencer, and then you get Todd with this, almost making, but Tribble with a strong rebound. 58-46. Demons by a dozen. Tribble trying the fast break, and here's Wright underneath. Hansen, yes. Hansen with 12. 1 minute to go in the third. A 10-point Demon lead. And that one's out of bounds. Spencer zigged when he should have zagged. And there's a tear in the basketball banner right now.
That one ripped that expensive banner.
I wonder whose budget that'll come out of, Folks here in Morgantown have done a great job on this tournament. Ron Steiner and all the staff. How about that? Hansen from 20 feet scores. 14 for him. 58-50. And the Generals refuse to say die. They're going to go for one shot. Blue Demons with half a minute left. Here's Edgerton. Yes. Boy, he's something. His average is less than 10, but he has 14 already. And it's 60-50. And this will be the last play of the third quarter for the Generals if everything goes as they planned. Freddie Wright. That's the left corner pass to Sowards. Wright again. 10 seconds left. 7. Wright from long range. Just missing. 2 seconds left. That's it. That's the end of the third quarter. We have 8 minutes to go, Woody O'Hara, to decide the West Virginia Boys AA Championship. And the score, the defending champion Northfork Blue Demons 60, the Winfield Generals 50.
They have improved that by about 4 percentage points over their second quarter play. Winfield hitting 53.6% from the floor. Both teams to foul line. We show Winfield at 75%, 6 out of 8. And Northfork 4 out of 7 from the line, 57%. Edgerton will be coming out of the ball game as Northfork comes back in again with Robert Foster, a 5'9" junior. Bill, we've got a lot of action yet to go with over 7.5 minutes remaining. That's
for sure. Still plenty of time. And by the way, Woody, those stats you gave, it's interesting that the Demons are shooting more from the floor than they are from the foul line. 60-50, and here's the long one from Spencer. That's no good. Foster can't save it, but I think he was helped out of bounds. Spencer will trigger in for the Blue Demons of Northfork High School. They pack him up. Foster winds up with the ball on the leap. Peyton Flynn right now. Smith fakes. Yes.
What a shot.
Smith is an unheralded ball player, and you see why. And now Spencer commits his second foul on the Generals inbounds play. But Smith was a star for them last year, and yet when you have a Russell Todd on your team, why, you get overlooked. Smith averages 14 a game, and we've seen him for several years, Woody. Just make plays like that.
Usually on the turnaround, you look for that looping shot, but that one, I think, was fired from the belt, right from the holster.
Here's the shot from Matthews. There he is. 12 points for Matt Matthews, and it's a 10-point game again, 62-52. The Blue Demons with the ball in the lead. 6:50 to play in the AA Championship here at the Coliseum on the campus of WVU in Morgantown. Spencer working the right corner. Now around the zone, and that one is an errant pass. Here's Hansen going down against Flynn. Flynn commits the foul, I believe. That's his first.
Peyton Flynn, you've got to watch him away from the ball to really realize his worth. Little number 11, as you said, is in this ball game more or less for a morale boost. He's coming out now, being replaced in the Northfork lineup by Jesse Fields. But Flynn away from the ball is directing traffic all the time. When he's got the ball on the dribble, he'll do a head fake to the right, pass back to the left. He's anticipating defensive movement. Quite the complete ball player.
Winfield Generals will inbound the ball. And Wright will try it. Yes. Brad Wright showing us. That's 16 points for him. 62-54. And the Generals now with a steal try. They've got it. They can get it to a 6-point lead. Here's the fast break drop off. There's Tribble. Yes. 10 for Tribble. And ladies and gentlemen, don't go away. A timeout as Jennings Boyd of the Demons realizes that momentum has shifted again, Woody.
I tell you, Northfork gets in a commanding position, as we pointed out back in the second quarter. 11-point lead, which was the big one. Then they got to down to 10 to 9 to 10 to 9, 10 to 9, and it just got to a situation where they played along, and some teams or some people would be inclined to think that a ball club that doesn't take advantage of a situation like that is often called lacking the killer instinct. But certainly, Jennings Boyd is not to be put in that classification, because once she gets you down, you're not going to get back up. But this Winfield ball club has fought back to within 5 after trailing by 11, now within 6 after trailing by 10. So with the time remaining, 6 minutes and 19 seconds, and this fine crowd looking on here at the Coliseum this afternoon, it's going to be still, I think, a much closer ball game than this. Strategy meetings are going on. That's Jennings Boyd, the coach at Northfork. And to our right, Ron Chambers and his Winfield Generals are about to break back onto the floor. This is a well-coached and well-played ball game.
Winfield, I think, Woody, just showing that they are not to be intimidated. They realize that they're playing the New York Yankees of West Virginia basketball. There are buttons all over the arena here proclaiming Northfork owning the decade of the Demons. That's what it says on the blue and white buttons. Decade of the Demons, 1970 to 79. And the folks making the long, long journey up here to Morgantown with a boisterous crowd, as you expect in tournament action. They love their team down there, and they have a phenomenal streak. They have not been defeated by a Double-A team in 5 years.
I think 78 games, something like that.
Here are the Demons. That's Spencer, head of the lane. 6:08 to play in the ball game. That's Todd. Now Spencer will take it. Todd. Russell Todd with 20 points. The 6'7" senior leads everybody on the floor in scoring. An alley-oop try. Tipped away. And a whistle and a foul has been detected on Northfork High School. That's Edgerton, his third, and he is the only Demon now in foul trouble. And this late in the game, that's not too serious. It's 64-56. A lot of folks down in McDowell County were wondering that Northfork might be absorbed by the consolidated school Mount View, but we're told that as long as the attendance at Northfork continues the way it is now, they will remain a separate entity. Here's Wright trying to get away from his man. Matthews will not go down. Tough luck shot, and there is Todd with the sure rebound. Needs help now as the Generals try to press. Foster passing ahead to Spencer, and again Foster with it. The Northfork fans on their feet at that end of the floor, starting to smell victory, but still plenty of time left. Edgerton passing underneath, changing direction in midair, 1st and 10. Spencer hustling, but the Generals with equal hustle, and we have Todd slow to get up.
Russell was camped in that lane and got the pass. Immediately swarmed under and taken to the floor. He's walking it off now. It appears he's still playable. This youngster is a real tough ball player, and the more I see of him, Bill, the more I appreciate the talent scouting abilities of one Gale Catlett. This young man could have a franchise built around him easily.
He's got to be happy with him, and also with Alan Williams. The Generals now. From the foul line, they pass it to Wright again. Here's his shot. That's an air ball, and Smith corrals it. Walter Smith will bring it down with 5:09 to play and an 8-point Northfork lead. The Demons will spread out their offense now, and the Generals are playing their back line in a zone, and now they switch off and say, let's go man-to-man and make them play. As we mentioned, still plenty of time, just under 5 minutes to go, and the whistle is sounded. 64-56. And we'll have the jump ball. The 5-second rule has been enforced. Russell Todd at 6'7". Going up against Dwayne Sowards at 6'3". They're fighting for it. Hanson hustling over there, and Matthews comes up with the ball. The Generals still in this ball game, but they need offense right here. Wright, the crafty guard. Oh, what a pass. Looky here. Tribble. He passed opposite the way he was looking, and Tribble winds up with his 11th and 12th points. And it's a 6-point differential again. Northfork, a give-and-go pass intercepted by Tribble. 4:22 left, and the Generals can get within 4 if they can score. The Demons are quickly down on defense, and so the Generals' general, Fred Wright, will work this one out. Has it to Hansen. Give and go. Tipped away. Sowards couldn't hang on, and the long lead pass coming to Foster. Look at that. Robert Foster blitzing through, and the 5'9" junior has his 4th point. 66-58. That was a key exchange with 3:55 to play in the championship. We'll stay for the ceremonies after this, too. Tribble. Look at those quick hands of Walter Smith. Down to Todd. Let's see if he dunks.
There's what I've been waiting for.
That's the home run toss, and I'm glad they've got it back. 3:37 left, and Ron Chambers says, let's talk it over. It's 68-58, and here's Woody O'Hara.
Well, I think that it might be broken open at this point. Back out to the 10-point lead so late in the game with just 3:37 remaining. Russell Todd, 12 points at halftime, shows 10 more here in the second half. We've still got, as we said, 3.5 minutes to go. Todd with 22 points so far in the ball game. Darrell Edgerton, number 25 for the Demons, with 14. 13 points so far in the game from Walter Smith. The big scoring opportunities for the Generals of Winfield. 14 points in the ball game for Freddie Wright. He's the little fella out front, number 12. Matt Matthews shows 12 points. And Charlie Tribble, who had a very slow start with only 6 first-half points, shows a total of 12 right now. But unless Tribble gets hot, he's going to fall way below his 23-plus average per ball game. Kenny Hansen scored the game's first 6 points for Winfield, has added 4 more field goals here in the second half, 14 points so far on the day.
In talking earlier about the Blue Demons records, we have it now. Northfork has won 34 consecutive tournament games. Their last loss was in 1973. They have won their last 73 consecutive games over AA opponents. Their last loss was to Gary on January 22nd of 1974. We're not saying that this game is put away yet, Woody, but I thought now would be an appropriate time to mention those stats. Here come the Generals now. They need offense with 3.5 to go. Hansen throws it up, not good. There's the rebound from a hustling Robert Foster. Edgerton. Here come the Generals once more. 68-58. Winfield trailing by 10. That's Tribble with the basketball. Into Matthews. Look at that fake. And the block by Todd, and a foul on Spencer. His 3rd. 3 minutes, 11 seconds to go. And you can see the huddle that has become so popular now by many teams, not only in college ranks, but in high school ranks, too. That bit of togetherness, not only for the shooter at the foul line, but the defensive players as well.
It's good to know where you're coming from, and in a situation like this of such great importance, the state championship final, it's good to know what everybody else has got on their minds.
That's Sowards with his first foul shot in 2 tries, and a total of 5 points for the 6'3" junior. 68-59. And Winfield High School 25-0, looking for another one. There it is. 68-60. Here's Spencer with a double team. Ahead to Foster. Fast break. There he is. Oh, just missed. And Tribble fighting, hustling, but Edgerton up with the ball, and Hansen corrals the loose one.
Never seen such overall great quickness as I have in this Northfork ball club.
Northfork almost with a steal from Spencer again. And in fact, he does help get the steal, as he and Matthews swatting at the basketball, and the referee right there to say the Generals touched it last. Winfield with the all-court pressure. Edgerton, who has become a fine point guard as Flynn was injured. Here's the bank shot missing, and this one will belong to the Blue Demons.
Todd gets the timeout call from Jennings Boyd, and they'll talk it over here as we get down to the nitty-gritty. An 8-point differential, 68 Northfork, Winfield 60, with just 2:39 remaining in the ball game. And I tell you what, we've talked a great deal about both these ball clubs. We certainly hope that our coverage of this AA championship has not been a biased situation, because certainly we have 2 very fine, great basketball teams in here, and they both deserve being in the championship game.
I feel a closeness to each of the coaches, you know, going to school with one and calling games for the other one, and now we're going to...
Let's go to the Winfield bench and see if we can pick up some action there.
You got a game, we'll look both.
that, let's get the loose balls. It's more, let's hustle, scrap a little more on defense.
I could hear him say, too, let's not forget this is the game, the game. And with 2:39 to go, a lot can happen in that amount of time. Northfork, however, will be inbounding on the baseline when we get back to action. And again, with the down-to-the-wire finish on this AA championship, Bill O'Brien.
Thank you, Woody. Spencer will do the honors and lobs it out deep. Walter Smith, they're going to spread to four corners. Foster handing to Smith again, number 41. And there's the foul called on Fred Wright, only his first personal. 2:32 left and a 68-60 Northfork lead here in the final period of the AA encounter.
Wright was in a frustrating position because his coach, Ronnie Chambers, told him to go out and foul. He fouled a couple of times before the call was made.
This is Spencer, number 31. The give-and-go pass to Edgerton, running the middle of the attack, and there's the foul on Tribble. That's his fourth. He picked up 3 in the first half and just now collects his 4th personal foul.
They're still not in the bonus situation, so they're trying to force Northfork into an error on the inbounds play.
Walter Smith will again be handed the basketball. First, it's wiped off, and we're ready to play ball. That's Todd with it, and Smith. Todd was on the all-tournament team last year. Smith gets the ball back. Quarter court on the right side. Give and go. Now Foster will try. Yes! Robert Foster with a nifty move. 6 points for him. And again, a Demon 10-point lead with 2:05 to play in the ball game. This is Wright, head of the circle. Hansen will try it. That's no good, but Tribble rebounds. That's too hard off the glass. The Generals goal with Matthews. Look at that hustle. Wright and Tribble, but first the whistle and the violation. Somebody for the Demons, Darrell Edgerton, is called for the push-off, and that's Darrell's 4th personal foul. 70-60 is the score. Northfork, the Demons have led since the early going of the ball game. Northfork by 3 at the end of the first quarter, by 7 at halftime. And here now a 10-point advantage late in the ball game as Freddie Wright will go to the line. 16 total points, 4 out of 5 at the stripe, and there's an extra one for him. The 5'9" senior will try again. It's 70-61. There you see our camera angle from the opposite end of the floor. One of 4 camera positions we're using. And immediately Wright making the free throw and asking for a timeout. 1:52 left, and it's 70-62, and again, not without the realm of possibility. An 8-point differential and still around 2 minutes to go, Woody.
Well, I tell you, the clock is more and more becoming the enemy of the Winfield Generals just as much as their counterparts Northfork, because the situation where Northfork cannot be content now to sit back, be complacent, and try to hold on to it. They've still got to generate some offense. They've still got to go down floor and pick up 1 or 2 more before salting this one away. If they decide to sit back and sort of rest on that 8-point cushion right now, they could be in deep, deep trouble, because I can assure you that Ron Chambers, Doug McElwain, Brad Hodges, and Don Garrison are really mapping the strategy now in the Winfield huddle. 1:52 remaining in the ball game. Northfork with an 8-point lead, 70-62. And this has been one that I'm sure that everyone here will remember for quite some time, because I know a lot of people who have bought tournament tickets not for ball clubs, but for players. I've heard people say, I'm going to get one for Earl Jones's game, or I'm going to go out and see Russell Todd play, or I'm going to see Alan Williams play. But certainly, even though these youngsters are stickouts for their ball club and have been getting a goodly amount of publicity through the year, we've found in a tournament here that they have fine supporting casts, and you just don't get the state tournament play with a one-man ball club. And this has been proven by every team here in the tournament this year, I think, Bill.
You've made an interesting point, Woody, and no doubt about it. It's interesting just to travel through the lobbies of the various hosteleries and here at the Coliseum and listen to people talk, and that definitely one of the comments.
There are a lot of armchair coaches here this year, too, I'll tell you that.
Well, about every year, I'd say, huh? Well, look at the defensive pressure by the Generals. There's Smith. Watch out. Well, they're really being hustled around. Swarmed over defensively by Winfield High School. 1:34 to play. 70-62. The Demons of McDowell County. A foul is called on Wright. That's his second.
Freddie Wright had to do what he had to do, and that was make the foul. But as soon as he decked Foster, he reached down, picked him back up. A fine show of sportsmanship, and these young men may be thinking of one another before they enter this arena as enemies in the great field of battle here, basketball. But certainly we've seen great sportsmanship throughout.
That's Smith. Good ball handler into the attacking court safely. Edgerton passing it off, and look how they hustle to get that ball away. Give and go to Smith, 1:20 to play. Good movement on the ball, and a foul is going to be called on Hansen. That's his third.
Northfork's not going to give up the basketball. They whip it around as well as anyone I've ever seen. And certainly they've held their composure here in what is supposed to be a strategic situation to break concentration. Of course, Northfork has to be characterized in the driver's seat right now, with Winfield going out and trying to cause the foul, hoping for the missed free throw, the quick rebound, and the quick score.
Robert Foster gets his 7th point of the afternoon. He averages 5.5. Foster, just a junior. You know, this Northfork team is going to be powerful again next year. Sure, they lose Todd, but they've got a bunch of sophomores and juniors coming back. There's one more by Foster. 72-62, and the Generals need quick offense with 1:14 left. There's Wright. That one's short by Tribble. Edgerton winds up with it. He's got a player down there. Look at that. Oh, my. Russell Todd on a super feed.
Todd not only deflected the Tribble shot on one end of the floor, but took the alley-oop up and in and good on the other end.
And that's what they say, the cliche, playing on both ends of the floor. 24 points for Russell Todd. Here's Hansen with a nice feed. Matthews gets the bucket, but they will not allow it. That basket is disallowed, and a timeout is going to be called by the Blue Demons with 47 seconds to go and a 74-62 lead, Woody.
I'll tell you what we're going to do right now is, while we're talking, we're not going to fool anybody. We're going to be looking at our score sheet, because looking at the Northfork bench, we're going to be seeing the likes of Kenny Brown, Kenny White, Peyton Flynn, no doubt, will be back in, Michael Boyd, Robert Huckleberry, and George Peoples. So we've got a complete change of cast for the Blue Demons of Northfork. And these youngsters are quite accomplished, too. I don't know if Michael Boyd on this Northfork Ball Club. Yes, he is. He's Jennings' boy?
Yes. We want to also give credit to the Northfork cheerleaders. Their contingent just out a moment ago. Carolee Calloway is the head. Kim Cornett, Dee George, Sheila Hickman, Donna Pinkard, Donna Scott, Debbie Verono, and Selvine Thomas is the sponsor. And they have a nice crew as well.
Let's try to set them for you as they come back onto the floor. Kenny Brown is out there along with Michael Boyd, number 55. He's the coach's son. Kenny White comes back out. Peyton Flynn did not come back onto the floor. Robert Huckleberry is number 15, and inbounding from the sideline, number 23, George Peoples.
All right, the inbounds play is to Brown. There's the interception, and Wright will get the bank shot. 74-64, a 10-point differential, 36 seconds left, and a foul is detected as Hansen trying to make the steal. That's his 4th. We are going to talk to the winning coach following this ball game, as we'll be carrying the concluding ceremonies in each of the classifications on West Virginia Public Television. And also, we remind you that in various sections of the state, you are seeing these games at various times, and we ask you to check your local TV listings for the time of each game. They are different in different parts of the state. Ready now is George Peebles, P-E-E-P-L-E-S, and he's got his first point. The 5'10 sophomore will get into the record books. 75-64, and 37 seconds left. Ready once more. There. 76-64. And the Blue Demons back on defense. There's the jumper from Treble, good for 14 points. 76-66. Ronnie Chambers' club has plenty to hold their heads up about, but the Demons, with too much firepower, tremendous floor shooting, and a good team effort. There's the personal foul that's been called, and you see superimposed on your screen the official time of 23 seconds. You know, part of the reasoning, and the Generals coach Ron Chambers, when he was first to admit it to me, he said, you know, Northfork plays a better schedule. They are a AA school, yet 16 of their 20 regular season games were against AAA teams. He said, we realize that, but we realize, too, that we've got a good team, and we're here to play.
Well, I know that Jennings Boyd was not completely satisfied with the overall play of his team this year, but he said once we got through the streak there with Logan, Huntington, Princeton, Pineville, Bluefield, Huntington in the bunch, then we felt that we'd established ourselves. We knew what we could do, and they didn't do well at the end of the season going into the tournament, but they're here, and that's what counts.
Peebles had missed that foul shot, and now substitutions on the Winfield side. Into the ball game, number 40, Mark Saber, is in there. We'll try to pick up some of these others for you. Number 30, Mark Poor, is in. Steve Crozier is in. The Demons working with 15 seconds, and the foul is going to be called. Going to the stripe will be Kenny Brown, 6'2" junior, who at one time during the season was a starter for Northfork High School, and will get a chance to list his name amongst the scorers today. 76-66, a 10-point Demon lead as they try for their 6th consecutive championship in AA, and 7 out of the last 9 years. Phenomenal. It's up. A lot of English, but it wouldn't go. And the rebound comes down to Jamie McKinney. Loose ball, and the Demons are back with it with 8 seconds left. Here's the shot. Good.
Well, you can tell Boyd wanted that one. It's over. Michael Boyd scores his team's last 2. And a little bit of poetic justice, I suppose, as Ron Chambers and Jennings Boyd, all the coaches, all the players, embracing one another, the cheerleaders coming onto the floor, both teams being surrounded by photographers. We're trying to get Jennings Boyd's attention. He is on the floor now, shaking hands with each individual Winfield ball player. And sportsmanship reigns supreme here at the Coliseum in Morgantown as the Northfork Blue Demons, for the 6th straight time, are AA champions with a 78-66 win over the Generals of Winfield. The awards are about to be made. Edwin Jenkins, the principal at Morgantown High School, is out onto the floor. He is tournament director. And he is being surrounded now by other members of his staff. This is the time when the benches come off the sidelines and out onto the floor facing one another around that table filled with silver and gold, and that's what they've all been looking for. That's what they're here for, and certainly you can hear the Northfork cheering section behind us. They are still cheering, very happy with what they've seen here this afternoon. Bill, I don't know if we can get a microphone out there or not. Sam Williams is about to, the executive secretary of the Secondary Schools Activities Commission, is about to introduce the principals and no doubt make the awards here this afternoon. Northfork, Russell Todd is at the other end of the floor behind those chairs that you see now, cutting down the nets off the basket, and that could delay our 3 o'clock ball game here.
I'll tell you, I'm going to let him do whatever he wants to do, and he's played well enough. Let's give the scoring unofficially while we have this break. For Northfork, Todd led them with 12 points in both halves, a total of 24 for the All-Stater Russell Todd. 14 unofficially for Darrell Edgerton, all field goals. Walter Smith cashes in with 13 points. I had 8 points for Robert Foster, 8 for Dwayne Spencer, both those gentlemen coming off the bench to do a fine job. Jesse Fields with 6, 2 points for Michael Boyd, the last 2 of the ball game. Peebles with 2 free throws, and Kenny White with 1 point. So 9 Northfork Blue Demons get in the scorebook, and that shows you some of their balance. 3 of them in double figures, led by Russell Todd's 24 points. For Winfield, all of their starters did the scoring. 20 points for Fred Wright, the fine guard, hit 7 from the floor and made 6 out of 7 at the line. Wright with 20 points. 14 apiece for Charlie Tribble and Kenny Hansen. 12 points for Matt Matthews and Dwayne Sowards with 6 points. So Winfield ends their year, again, nothing to be ashamed of. They played a great game, but Northfork just too much. Winfield 25-1, and the Blue Demons end up 19-7, their 6th consecutive championship, Woody.
All the Winfield scoring came from 5 players. They're starting 5, and as you pointed out, Northfork spread their scoring through 9 of their tournament contingent here. Russell Todd having probably the most difficult time of the afternoon right now. That's taking the net down off the rim.
You know what they had done last year at Charleston? It got very scientific. They had the scissors. And apparently they've dispensed with that. In fact, they were afraid somebody might hurt themselves. They were blunt-edged scissors.
Well, we had Todd trying with the scissors earlier. Now he's just simply taking them off the hooks on the rim. The lights are flickering here. Some of them are flash bulbs, and I don't know, it looks like we've lost some of our lights in the top of the Coliseum, but it may be just dimming down for effect here for the championship tournament presentations. Here's the executive secretary of the West Virginia Secondary Schools Activities Commission to make the presentation, Sam Williams.
Witness an act of the greatest show on earth. These two teams have performed an excellent act for us today. And now for the awards. Presenting the awards today will be the principal from Clinton Junior High School, a member of the Board of Appeals, Mr. Jim Hamrick, and principal from Williamstown High School, Mr. Robert Akins. Would the cheerleaders or the athletic director best cheering section, Gilmer County High School. While someone is coming forward to accept the plaque from Gilmer County, we will proceed. The team sportsmanship, Northfork High School. I'd like to say something, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, while this award is being accepted. I believe this must be fourth, fifth, maybe the sixth straight year that Northfork High School has won this coveted trophy. I would like to publicly commend Mr. Jim Lane, the principal of Northfork High School, Jennings Boyd and his entire staff, and the people at Northfork High School, or Northfork, West Virginia. After all, this is what the game is all about. Congratulations. The all-tournament team. From Frankfort High School, Bill White. I hope Bill is present. If not, his athletic director or the principal may come forward, and I will go ahead with the awards of the all-tournament team. Well, hope, here comes Bill. Thank you, Bill. From Northfork High School, Russell Todd. From Winfield High School, Fred Wright. From Northfork High School, Darrell Edgerton. From Winfield High School, Charlie Tribble. From Northfork High School, Walter Smith. From Gilmer County High School, Steve Carney. From Gilmer County High School, Brad McPherson. Mr. Hamrick will now present the runner-up individual trophies to the runner-up team, Winfield High School. Please come forward, fellows, and accept your individual trophies. Let's stay up, fellas. Let's accept their individual trophies.
In the tournament. And now the presentation to the, well, I guess the annual champions, the Blue Demons of Northfork High School.
Would the state championship Northfork High School team step forward to receive their individual championship trophies?
Okay.
They probably got that shirt right over there.
Do you want to take a break here and well, the team pictures are being taken now. The Northfork Blue Demons, as they do it now for the 6th time in a row. Bill O'Brien will be back with head coach Jennings Boyd of Northfork right after this break. You're watching West Virginia High School tournament action on West Virginia Public Television.
I know you're still on cloud 9, but let's just check into this ball game for a moment. When did you feel that you had the Winfield game wrapped up?
I thought, Bill, when we had the 10-point lead with about 2 minutes and 11 seconds, I guess, I think was the time, I thought that we had it pretty well in hand, but I was still a little bit concerned. And then when it finally turned down to 1:31 and we still had the 8 or 10-point lead, I knew that we were going to be state champions again.
Todd had a great game, but you had Spencer coming off the bench, did a marvelous job for you.
All the young men did a great job, Bill, and of course, as usual, Russ played his super game. Russ is a type player that doesn't score a tremendous number of points, but he does so much for us out on the floor. And of course, I think that we've exhibited here in the 2 state tournament games that we certainly are not a one-man team, that we play complete team basketball.
Coach, I know this is a tough question. Now you've had 6 consecutive championships. Last year's was obviously much different from this year because you were setting the record. Now you've added 1 to the record.
Well, Bill, it's just super fantastic. It's hard for us to believe down at home. And we hope that we've done something for West Virginia basketball that will give other schools something to shoot at, really. We don't think that we've set a record that will never be broken, but it will give these younger coaches something to shoot at in the future.
But I noticed as an encore, you had your cheerleaders with a sign, you know, let's try for 7 now, huh? Is that the next goal?
Well, it's going to be hard for us not to think in terms of that, Bill, because we've been made aware of the fact that the national record for consecutive championships is 7. So Northfork High School has a chance next year, not only after having established a state record for consecutive championships, but also we have a chance, thank God, that we can tie a national record for high school consecutive championships.
Jennings, I'll let you get back to your team. Congratulations. You are a true gentleman. To you, your players, your staff, everybody, way to go.
Bill, thank you very much. It was my pleasure.
And now back to Woody O'Hara courtside.
Congratulations from yours truly to Jennings Boyd, his Northfork Blue Demons, in capturing the state championship once again here at the WVU Coliseum. It's been a pleasure to work with Bill O'Brien during this AA championship ball game. Lots of excitement. Once again, the final score, Northfork 77, Winfield 66. We thank you for joining us for high school tournament play on West Virginia Public Television.